morning, friends. Hello, hello. Hi, Leanne. How are you? All right. Just getting everybody in here. Good morning. Good morning. How are you? Hi, Kim. Good morning. Hi, Lee. How are you? Good to see you. Hi, Paula. It is cold, Leanne. I'm telling you, I am not digging this cold weather thing at all. And I see Peaceful Nick's over in the Instagram. Good morning. I hate how I'm not a fan of how slow Instagram, how delayed Instagram is. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I'm trying to get everything adjusted. Got a lot going on this week. 15 degrees in Nebraska. Ugh. Yeah, I don't even look to see what it is here. I just know I opened the door to let the dogs out and it was real cold. Not a fan of cold at all. Not a fan. So how is everybody doing? I do too, Paula. It kind of stresses me out because my husband is like, we both hate the cold, but neither one of us are we're building a house here in Indiana. So we're doing another one. I'm trying to figure out. Oh, here we go. I'm trying to get everything set up here. Good morning. Oh, I see Kelly just popped in. Hello. First time yesterday, I tried to go live on Instagram and the site was down. It wouldn't let me go live. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it is Mercury retrograde. That's no fun. So welcome to Spirit Signs and Sips, friends. Good morning. Good morning. Yeah, it's cold. I just am cold all the time. And the thing is, because of, menopause, good stuff, I get in bed and then all of a sudden I'm burning up hot. Like, this is silly. And then my husband's crying because it's cold. Listen, I'm sweaty. And it's really me that matters all the time. So as you all know, well, you may not know, if you've been here a minute, you have menopause. So there will be another live this week. And it might be on all the platforms because my my friend Lucas, I know it's dumb, Nikki. So he used to be my next door neighbor. He's on a flight now coming from Switzerland. And he'll be here visiting me tomorrow. And he's always in my Instagram chat and I'm always talking to Lucas. And he has requested that, thank you, Lucy, that we go live. Oh, that's cool, Lindsay. Yep. And actually Spirit told me to wear this today. I had something else picked out, but we went with dragonfly. So this must be a good morning to you, Lindsay. So there'll be an extra live and it will probably be on all my platforms because I promised him that we would do that. And his 18th birthday is coming up next week and on the 18th, actually. So it's his golden birthday. And so today I've been scrambling to finish getting the house picked up, which I'm so slow on everything because of my knee, but I got to get the guest room all set up. My friend's going to come over and we're going to put balloons in there and make it really fun for him. So he's only going to be here with me for a day and then a little bit Saturday morning. And then he's going to go back with his family for family festivities. So we're pretty excited to have Lucas coming to visit. So what are y'all sipping on this morning? Spirit Signs and Sips. What are we sipping on? Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Crystal from Michigan. That's probably cold up there. I know, right, Lee? I'm excited to see him. He's my little buddy. And actually, if it didn't require taking so many devices, I would show you all the mess that I left in my basement because Lucas, when he lived here, always helped me with Halloween and Christmas decorations. That was our thing that we did together. And we guys a lot of coffee drinkers in here. I'm right there with you on the chai latte tea, Paula. Leanne's drinking coffee. What about you guys over here on Instagram? What are you guys drinking? No, I don't know, but we want Noga, do you want fries with that? Come on. Hold on. That may have been a world record, guys. I think that only took 7 minutes for someone to come in and just drop their information. Not reading the room, not listening. Dude, like really, we're just sitting here talking about my drinking Celsius and we're talking about my buddy next door and you just drop your question. Come on. Just because the name says medium doesn't mean that you're going to get read today. Okay. Coffee. There's not enough hours in the day. Oh no. I don't like coffee. I wish I did. Good morning to you as well. I love me some Celsius. Although somebody messaged me and said, hey, those are really bad for you. Michelle, one of my friends on here, was like, those are really bad for you. They have something in it. And I'm like, I feel like I can't give them up yet. I only drink one a day. One a day. That's it. Everything else is water. Maybe a Mexican Coke because it's cane sugar instead of all the high fructose corn syrup. Anything that's really high in caffeine are bad for you. Anything that's not water is bad for you. If you're talking liquids, think about it. Exactly. Pour some sugar on me. Thank you. Have a good day, Nick. Thanks for popping in. I appreciate you just coming in and showing the love. I appreciate you. All right. So my buddy Lucas is coming. We're going to do a live tomorrow. We're not really sure what time yet because we have a lot of things going on. He specifically requested that I leave all my Halloween stuff out and I don't organize any Christmas stuff because only he can do it right. So that is what we're going to spend about an hour on tomorrow, is putting that all away. I'm like, dude, you're going to be here I'm going to see you for 24 hours. That's what you want to do for 24 hours? He's like, yes, absolutely. So but that's always been our bonding thing. We start planning Halloween in July. Like we would sit on my deck and have our planning meetings with the iPad. So I agree, Nick. It is the best. So we're going to take him. I have a few surprises in store for Lucas. Luckily, he's not watching this because he's on a plane. It'll be fine. So today, here on Spirit Signs and Sips, where I'm drinking my Celsius. Today, I'm drinking watermelon. I thought I'd grab tropical vibe, but I did not. And we're going to talk about modalities. Yeah, we're going to talk about the differences between psychism, mediumship, trance mediumship, channeling, thank you, bit of everything, and things like inspirational speaking, which is channeling. And so, yeah, lots of things, lots of differences. There's and something I do called multidimensional hypnosis by proxy. It's a healing modality where I actually go into a trance state. What if you extra medium and you here to give it away for free? I have no idea what you mean. So anyway, so that's what we're talking about. We're talking about the different modalities. So I thought we would start with, I'm going to make my little notes. There we go. And I thought we'd do some demonstrations of the different types. Okay. The different types of modalities. So let's start with just psychic work, like just psychic work alone, right? So how many of you understand what psychic would even, oh, for fuck's sake, hang on. Guess what I'm about to do? Okay. I don't need people. You know what's funny is I just posted a video on that. Yeah, I just posted a video about that. People coming and going, yeah, but you should give it for free. Which is interesting because when I'm on live, those of you who have seen me, do I ever charge for readings? I do it for free online all the time. So psychic. Let's talk about that's right. And thank you, Yessie, for jumping on that too. So psychic work is when I, as a reader, or you as a human, just kind of know, like you have to just kind of know things from other people, right? You might pick up on something from another person, and when I read someone psychically, it might be more about like relationships. He's like triple blocked, isn't he, Kim? it's 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 knowing things about someone or knowing something's happening with them. Um, so it's person to person, human to human. Okay, so I might be doing a reading for someone that's like about relationships or job choices. Now, am I predicting their future? Now, if I see something coming down the line, if I'm leaning into the current energy, the current trajectory, right? Oh, thank you, Kelly. If I'm as a psychic reading, I'm tuning into your current trajectory, your current energy. And knowing full well that we have choice, we have free will, and we can change those things. So I might say to you, okay, a psychic reading, if you want to ask about love, right? Then I'm going to go, instead of you saying, or instead of me saying to you, oh, this person is your soulmate, this person is the love of your life, and you're going to be with them forever and ever and ever, blah, 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 blah. Right? Or my favorite is, what's my soulmate's name? I don't know. When am I going to be my soulmate? What's he look like? How big is he? Da, 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 da. What's he do? What's his name? I mean, like people will ask that, like, but because they come from a mindset that everything is predestined. Okay, so I do give grace and space for that. That sometimes it just those questions come out of not understanding how it all works, right? Exactly. They watch too many movies, and there are things that will come into our existence that are predestined, that are supposed to happen. Okay. And they're part of our path. They're part of things that we're supposed to conquer. We set them up ahead of time, right? And maybe that is a relationship. But does that mean that soulmate is yours forever and ever and ever? Or was that soulmate just came in to teach you how you should not be in a relationship? Yeah, maybe that soulmate was a perfect partner in a past life, and now in this lifetime they come in and be like, hey, I'm gonna be the bad guy. We're like, right on, high five. Psh, I don't know, Marita. We're not. Do you see cards in my hands? Do you see what the cards say? They say, stop being rude. Read the room. Okay. So, man, coming in messing with the Leo. What the heck? That hasn't had enough caffeine yet. Yes, we're just going to mute for the rest of the live. Okay. Well, not the rest of the live, the 5 seconds. Sorry. So when you come in and drop your questions like that, you like this, Lorenda, you always see the nice version of me, Lee. You always see like the nice, well, no, I guess I'm spicy, but so going back to when I read psychically, I'm reading into what's around you, your aura. I'm not talking to other entities. I'm not speaking with your loved ones. I'm literally tuning into you and seeing where your specific um, energy trajectory is going. Sometimes I am shown when somebody says, but I know this is my soulmate. And I'm like, you sure about that? Wasn't that a TikTok? You sure about that? You sure about that? Then I have to explain what that means, what that can mean. It doesn't always mean that you're supposed to be with that person. So psychic energy, I can tune in and see the trajectory, see what's coming down the line. If I have a deal with my guides that I do not want to see. I do not want to see death. I don't want to see any of that. None. Unless I can prevent it. Unless it's something that I'm supposed to say, hey, if you make this choice, this is not going to end well. Okay. And those are opportunities from spirit to align you with me, for me to actually be able to see that. If I'm seeing that, then that is a gift from God himself. That is a gift from God, because I don't get to see those unless it's preventable. Okay. The way that I would see something like that is the choice. Okay. The choice of, I'm going to go this way and live happily ever after, or at least live. I go this way, I'm going to drive off a cliff. So I'm going to say to you, hey, don't, I say avoid cliffs. Don't drive off any cliffs, please. Okay. So that when I get that energy, how do I receive the vibe or energy? Is it in your mind's eye, intuition, or feeling, or sound? It can be all of the above, Michelle, actually. It can be all of the above. It all depends on that spirit, depends on how I'm receiving information that day, where my frequency is. It's really about the receiver and how we receive the information, right? So it might come in auditorily. It might come in as a smell. It might come in my mind's eye, where I see a picture, right? But if you're sitting in front of me, it all depends on the person. It all depends on what's coming through. If there are health issues, I don't do health readings or medical readings, but if there are health issues, like say there's asthma, okay, then they may actually have me feel, they may give me that physical sensation. And I would say, would you understand asthma? Like, I feel like they're talking about you having breathing issues. And that, that's my guide saying, hey, talk about the asthma. So I might get that feeling, or tuning into the energy. So that's how psychic works. And also, when we're doing cards, okay, I might be pulling cards. I am pulling, everything is coming psychically. It's coming person to person. Anytime you're doing the divination tools, those could be mediumistically too. Depends on how you use those tools. Is it different for you virtually versus in person? No. I still, energy is energy. I tap into the same sources. So for me, it is not different. There are people who swear it's different, that they don't do as well on virtual. Or if sometimes they don't want to see the person. Good morning, Drops of Stardust. They don't want to see the person. Sometimes they want to be just on the phone. So they only get that voice connection, and that's okay. Some people only do email readings, so they never interact with the person energetically other than an email. But it's all because I believe it's because of how we receive information as the medium, or as the psychic, as the vessel. How does our vessel receive information? And if you're a person who gets big energy from other people, if they're sitting in the room with you and that's all you feel is their big energy, it can be distracting. So maybe you are a better candidate to do psychic readings via email, right? Maybe you are a better candidate to do a pre-recorded video for someone, or maybe you are a better candidate to do a phone reading with someone where you only hear their voice and you're not sitting in the room with them, feeling their energy. I think because of how I was trained, I can do all of them. So, like, I get all the same information. Oh, yes, he's saying, "We did a virtual mediumship with Lorenda and my father-in-law brought up the game app we had just downloaded." It's true, like, Mario. That was great. That was such a good reading. And I don't always remember my readings, but I do remember that one. Um, so and that was a mediumship. That was when the people come in from the other side. Now, if if I'm doing if I'm working just with my guides and doing a psychic reading for someone, I will still utilize my guides. So that is still to me a form of mediumship because there's a person in the middle. There is a medium. There's someone else, and it's me. Well, I'm the one in the middle, right? And my guides might be pointing out, "Hey, see this, notice this, notice this." They're my filter. They're the ones that are like my gatekeepers. They run interference. They're my bouncers. My guides are my bouncers. They keep the place running smooth. They keep the riffraff out. There's no problems with people coming in, right? So so even if I'm doing a psychic reading, they are involved. They adjust my vibration. They bring information in through the different clairs. But that's not me speaking to loved ones when I'm doing a psychic reading. So when I had my reading a gajillion years ago with John Edward, I've only known him as a medium. And honestly, I didn't know at that time, this was a long time ago. I really didn't understand the difference between a psychic reading and a mediumship reading. It's like I did, but I didn't. Again, this was way long ago. He said, and like when I won the reading, it was a psychic reading, but that didn't register in my mind. I thought, oh, he talks to the non-living. He didn't. He read me. He read for me. He did a psychic reading for me and the trajectory of my current choices. And it was amazing to me how many played out, but then also how I was able to recognize the things that he told me were going to come up. And he said, and that's my job, I feel like, as a medium or as a psychic. He would tell me, okay, you've got this thing coming up and you're going to be faced with this choice. If you choose A, this is how it's going to go. If you choose B, that's how it's going to go. So it'll be a choice. And so when this thing happened, I was able to go, there it is. This is what he's talking about. I didn't either until August. And I was like, wow, I'm a medium this whole time. See, I didn't understand the difference. I truly didn't. And I think, and this is where development is very, very important. And I know you're going to agree with this, Moon Mystic Medium, that development is important because we could be gifted. We all have the gift of sight. We all have the gift of knowledge and connection to the other side, but how are we utilizing it? And like, I've got friends who are undeveloped and say, well, I see, this spirit with you that's terrible, terrible, terrible. And stuck and can't cross over. And it's not the case at all. But what they're interpreting is just what they're seeing or what they're being impressed with, right? But a developed medium would know how to lean into. Uh-oh, here we go. Spirit knows. A developed medium would know how to lean into that and discern why that spirit was there. What message are they trying to bring in? Can you talk about trance? I'm going to. I am, and I'm super excited about it. So we're going to go through all the different modalities. We're talking about psychism right now, but now and kind of into the mediumship. So when you do psychic readings, it's person to person, it's trajectory, it's understanding where the current energy is, where your current choices are taking you, and it's maybe even a connection to someone. Now, you can have a soul connection, an energetic connection to someone. And that's a whole other deep dive in energy, but we are all also connected to the other side. We're all connected to source, God, whatever you want to call him. It's so difficult to, hone in on it. It's like leaning on advanced physics. It's a lot to take in. It's a lot. Thank you, Yessie, for helping out. And Kim, thank you. And it's a lot. If you try to understand the physics of it, the actual science behind it, I get a little overwhelmed with it, but I try to learn a little bit at a time and let it kind of click into place and then learn the next piece of it. And I feel like that's been a lot more manageable. It's kind of like when somebody puts an entire meal in front of you that's just too big and there's no way you can eat it. But how do you get it? How do you eat it? Slowly, one bite at a time, right? It's the same thing with understanding quantum physics. It's science, quantum physics, like it's quantum science. And there's a reason that quantum physicists have advanced degrees. This is hard stuff for humans to understand, for our brains to understand, especially as someone who went to college to be a dance teacher. Like, let's be real. Like, I went for business and for dance. There's no science here other than like physical science, anatomy class, right? Understanding kinesiology. But as far as any of the quantum realm, nope. I got a D in statistics. Do you think I'm going to do well in regular science class? How did you start learning the learning process and the start of my learning spiritual journey? Good question, Brianna. And tapping into your gifts. And hello, welcome. That's what I get asked that a lot. I've always been fascinated with all this stuff. I wanted so bad. I would pray. I'd be like, oh, make me psychic. Thinking psychic people saw ghosts. Make me psychic. I want to be a psychic. From a very early age, I was obsessed with all of this. And so it wasn't until I was much older, though. And I know that I had, hey, Yessie or Kim, can you mute that person's comment? I don't want their personal information in here because of scammers. And yes, somebody asked if dance and movement helps move that stagnant energy. Absolutely. Any exercise, any movement does. So totally got derailed. Hang on. I got to take a drink of my Celsius. I should get a contract with them because I have so many followers. Thank you, Shelly. Okay. We're talking about knowing how to lean in. I honestly started with tarot cards. That's where I started, with tarot cards. And the reason I won that reading with John Edward is because I was on his website where I paid like $99 a year and I could take classes. They were not taking classes. They were watching all videos. And it was a lot of information on how to be ethical. And I would read books. Infinite Quest by John Edward is probably one of my go-to books. Anybody who says, I don't know, I feel like I just know things about things and I think I should be a paid psychic medium. I'm like, oh, you should read John Edward's Infinite Quest. Because that's all he talks about. Ethics. Just because someone can doesn't mean they should. He believes that people can be psychic and not a medium. I believe we can all be mediums, which is why we have a lot of bad people that do mediumship. Just anybody can do it, which means anybody can do it for any reason, good, bad, ugly, whatever. So it wasn't until, oh yes, definitely get that one. And actually, if you do Audible books, I have the print copy because I took notes in it and the Audible book because I loved to hear John Edward talk. And I felt like when he read the book, especially certain sections of it, I could feel his passion behind certain things. And it made me take note of like, okay, he means it. This section means it. Some of the other stuff is more informational that. And then also, well, you're already in classes, so that's good. But I always tell people start with that because it does help discern a lot. He does have a lot of passion. He does. And I was actually really mad. I was such a fangirl of his that for years, he and I are close to the same age. Infinite Quest by John Edward. It's an old book. It's been out for a long time. It's been out for a long time. And his big thing is ethics and ego. Definitely want to get into classes if you can. Peaceful Nick, if you find her on TikTok, she was over here actually a little bit ago on Instagram saying hi. Peaceful Nick offers free classes. I think she has some that are paid also. I have development circles, and they're only like $25 per class, but they go for over 2 hours, and you get a lot of bang for your buck with my classes. Also, I don't have my schedule out right now, and my last class is sold out. Like, it's actually waitlisted. That's coming up next Tuesday, but I will be putting out soon my first quarter, my first quarter schedule. And I'm going to have trance class. We're going to there's going to be some amazing stuff. So let's get back to the topic at hand, which is the different modalities. That's awesome. Well, thank you. Thank you, Joel. So we talked about psychism. We talked about psychic work. And also, let me do a quick introduction, really, in case some of you are new. I'm seeing more people popping in I have 6 whole people on YouTube. That's like a world record, I think. Seriously. So, and I have 1 in Instagram. Maybe it might just be me. I don't know. So psychism, mediumship. Mediumship is when we bring in, the medium, am talking with your loved ones on the other side. Okay. That's what a medium is. It's the medium part where the loved one is communicating, I'm interpreting and delivering a message. To me, mediumship is the most difficult to master because of the interpretation of it. And because, again, undeveloped mediums, all right, undeveloped mediums might see someone from the other side. They might be seeing them, actually physically seeing them. They might be clairvoyantly seeing them. They might be getting a weird feeling. They might hear something, but it's still left up to the interpretation of the person receiving the information. Okay. So if I envisioned suddenly a pogo stick, what does a pogo stick mean to me? Right? What does the pogo stick mean to the person? It could be very, very, very different. So a trained medium is going to know to say, Spirit's impressing me with a pogo stick. Would you understand a pogo stick? You say what you see, say what you get, say the information that you're receiving, and see if it makes sense to the person. And if they say no clue, then I'm going to say, let me lean a little further, because that means the Spirit is giving me a puzzle to kind of put together. And then I'm going to say, okay, so what a pogo stick means to me is it reminds me of my best friend, Sarah. When we were growing up, we'd go to my grandma's. And so ultimately that actually could mean that could be the grandmother coming through. It could be that their friend, the name Sarah, is important. So see, the mediumship, this is where it's so important to find a medium who is developed, who's taken the time to do the work, right? So anyway, what I started to do before I got sidetracked is, my name is Lorenda Carr. I'm a professional psychic medium. I'm a teacher, I'm a mentor. I teach classes on this stuff. I do readings. I do past life regression. I'm a QHH, quantum healing hypnosis technique practitioner, beyond quantum healing, where I do incorporate all the modalities into a past life regression. So that's me in a nutshell. And I do the Spirit Signs and Sips show every Thursday from 10 to noon Eastern Standard Time. So that's me. And all of my platforms, especially with TikTok being on the chopping block, we don't know. I'm hoping that it's not going to go anywhere. I think it'll stay, but I think it's going to look very different. I think that America, corporate greed America, is going to come in and go, how about we monetize literally everything? It'll be a pay to play kind of thing. I really believe that. Or pay to be seen, like Meta, with the Meta platforms. If you want to be seen, you got to pay money for ads. That's okay. It's okay. Pour sugar on me. We were just talking about psychism, and I did a quick intro. And I think I smack talked a few people. So, mediumship, we were talking about mediumship and how a medium interprets the information or relays the information, right? Right, Brianna? Yeah, I don't think it's going to go anywhere. It's already pretty much American. I don't understand what we see is the Americanized version. We're not seeing overseas. We're not seeing all the stuff overseas. So whatever. Now, so you guys want me to do a demonstration of mediumship? I feel like there might be a spirit moving in. Let's see who I can call in. Yeah, exactly. It's exactly what America stands for. Okay. So I'll give you a demonstration of mediumship. I'm going to see if I can pull the spirit in. And I know what I was going to say. While I'm asking my guides to adjust my vibration to bring in a spirit. For those of you who are just beginning, also another good book to read, or if you're interested in it, is a You Are a Medium, You Just Don't Know It Yet by Hannah McIntyre. Lovely human being, amazing practitioner, amazing teacher. She's in the UK. You can get it on Amazon. Explanation was helpful to understand my own experiences. You're welcome. You are welcome. I'm glad that was helpful. So let's do a demonstration of mediumship and the difference in mediumship. So how I do it on these apps is I'm going to ask the spirit to start giving me information. And what I ask is the people that are watching, if this sounds like your loved one, I'll give you an emoji to drop to put in there. What I don't want is you to say, "Oh, I know that's my grandma who da 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 da." No information. The less information you give me, the more believable it is. It leaves less room for error. Okay. Oh, the book. There's the book. You Are a Medium, You Just Don't Know It Yet, by Hannah McIntyre. Follow her on all the apps. She's doing a 12 days of Advent giveaway right now too. So follow her on social media. She's really amazing. So let's do, just for fun, let's do a crystal ball emoji. Okay. If you're watching, if you are watching from a computer, and you have to, instead of a phone, and you want to in participate, just copy and paste the word crystal ball and keep putting it in when it's time. All right. So here's how this works. Don't drop it yet, because I have given you zero evidence. I've given zero evidence, right? But find that crystal ball, find it so you can have it in your arsenal to be able to start dropping it, right? So interesting. They're adorable. Okay, I've got two people coming in. They were grandparents, possibly great grandparents, but grandparents, and they're coming in together. And they're like linked, because normally I'll get a grandmother here, grandfather here, and they will come in here, and they're like, nope, we are together. So either they passed at the same time, or I guarantee it was close. They passed close to each other, but they are locked at the hip. They're inseparable. And then when they passed, they were old. They're talking about they had great grandchildren. They were talking about a very, very good life. And I feel like they're showing me a city. It's like they came from the city, but they're showing me a farm, like a country. So I feel like they started in the city and then ended up out in the country. See what else I can get from them. And so to explain how they're coming in right now is, for me, they're coming in and they're giving me images. Okay. So that's clairvoyantly. I'm seeing it in my mind's eye, right? And keep an eye out on the screen because I feel like they're telling me that they might show up on screen. So I do get a lot of spirits will show up like as orbs on the screen. You'll see, and you'll know it's definitely not some random gnat or piece of lint because like it'll do funny things. Well, we don't know that, Danielle. Yeah, and I have grandparents that fit that bill, right? So the point is, you want to wait till give me a minute to give you specifics. Okay. Now, here's the other thing. So they're hanging out. They're being patient. So they're showing big city life, but they retired in the country. They went out to be a little more isolated. And they're showing me some comparisons to my grandparents. Like they wanted to be out there, and I feel like one may have passed out there, or one of them may have been injured and had to be taken in because they were so fiercely independent. They were fiercely independent. Um, and they just adored each other, but she just looks at him with like stars in her eyes. It's so cute. There's a G name that's important around them. Gregory, or G. Like I feel like I'm just hearing a G name is important around them. I don't know if it's their name or if it's like someone that around them that is important to the conversation of whoever's watching. The number 3 is important, and I feel like there might be like a 3-year-old around that either sees them. There's something about somebody's got a 3-year-old, something about a 3-year-old. I'm also seeing horses and the Derby, so I don't know if that's a Kentucky Derby reference or if it's just like someone who was into horses or had horses or horse races or something about horses. I feel like it's more about horses. But this 3-year-old sees them. The 3-year-old sees them is what I'm hearing. The 3-year-old almost feels like a boy, like masculine energy. They absolutely loved family, and they're talking about how the family dynamic they tried really hard to leave their legacy of family, but things have fallen apart since they've passed. I feel like there's been a lot of division. They are talking about just the way of the world and culturally how things are, that could never understand, like, turning away from family when they were alive, but now they understand that choices had to be made. Um, so they're talking about division in the family, and they're not upset about it. Okay, so I'm going to tune back in and see if anybody has been dropping if anybody can take this. So this is where what did I say? Crystal ball, the crystal ball. If anybody's able to take it, then drop that crystal ball. Okay, so drops of stardust. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to lean in. And this needs to be 100%. Kim, you take every single spirit I ever have, and I adore that. I adore you. Like, you poor thing. You've got so many people in spirit. Talking, you hear the voices. Good question, Brianna. No, not always. Not always. I don't always hear them. It's like I hear my own voice in my head. I don't apologize, Kim. I just feel bad because you have so many people on the other side that, wow. Okay, so let me get a recap. A couple that came in, they are just like attached at the hip. They either passed at the same time, or that's just how they were in life, right? And they are inseparable. They were inseparable. And she just looked at him with like stars in her eyes. Like she just thought he was the greatest thing ever. She is definitely the more dominant personality right now that's coming through. I feel like she's the one giving me the information. There was a big city reference, like they started in the city or they met in the city. They could have started their life in the city and then ended out in the country. Very fiercely independent. Like they did not want to go into a home. They didn't want to go into assisted living or anything. They did not want that. But I feel like there were some things that happened that forced one of them to do that. They're giving me a G name is important. they gave me the example of Gregory, but I don't know if that's what it actually is, if it's just a G name. They're talking about a 3-year-old. I feel like it was a boy energy they're talking about. 3-year-old boy energy is important. There's a division in the family, even though they were very, very close and they tried to nurture family. And horses. There was a horses reference. So how are we doing over here? Okay, so light worker can take it. Moon mystic can take it. Okay, so we still have quite a few people. So how this works too is if you feel like, oh my gosh, that then drops of Stardust can take 100% of it. So let me get a little bit more information. And Destiny Catholic, see, all of you, this is crazy. Let me get more specific stuff then. I just repeated it. So Kim, can you put some of the things in and pin it, please? Like I literally just repeated it. Okay, medium 669. So how this works is a lot of times they'll come through and you might get postcards. Okay, might be postcards, meaning your loved ones are here, but this is not necessarily a reading for you. So keep listening though. All right, keep listening because it might be that your loved one's coming through with a message for you, at least saying hi, right? They show me Bugs Bunny or Looney Tunes. There's so much in common with my grandparents that they're showing me, but they look nothing like my grandparents. He's very good with his hands. He liked to fix things or tinker. He's saying tinkering. He liked to tinker. He's talking about clocks. There's something about a clock that would be important around him. Either he fixed them or he had one, or there's a family heirloom that's a clock. Something about clocks. He's showing me a clock. Oh, there's a watch. He's like a Swiss, something about Swiss. He's like really well made. He's making reference to Swiss watches or Swiss clocks. Or it's a connection to Switzerland. Which is funny because Lucas is coming in from Switzerland. This is interesting. Okay. Thank you, Kim, for doing that. And somebody else did it too. Okay, how are we doing on this? Moon Mystic Medium. I'm really drawn to Moon Mystic Medium. And then there was somebody else that I was really drawn to. The Light Worker Love. Those two I was really, really drawn to. It looks like Destiny Catherine's also got taken 100% of this. Okay. There's a watermelon connection. Because remember how I said, I thought I grabbed the tropical vibe and I ended up with the watermelon. But I feel like this is someone who grew watermelon. There's some watermelon connection. This is funny because I was like, it's like, I heard them say, look at your can. Look at your can. Okay, something about water. And what's funny, you guys want to hear a fun fact about me? 2 summers in a row, I worked for my ex-husband's family on a watermelon farm. I walked in the fields 8 hours a day, pitching watermelon and cantaloupes. It's not for me. I know it's not for me. Plus, that was my ex-husband, and we don't talk about them. Who can take that? Can any those of you who are still here? I feel like it. So it's either so they either grew the watermelons or they had like a garden. There was something about growing and tending gardens, which makes sense because they were out in the country. Drops of Stardust, Light Worker Love. Drops of Stardust, does the dragonfly mean anything to you? I'm also getting something about dragonfly. telling you, good morning, Lorna. Drops of Stardust, are you in a position to come in to the box? If you are, I'm really drawn to you. And actually, what's interesting is when you came in earlier and I saw you pop up, I got a little ding, like a little ding in my brain, like at the very beginning. So I'm going to honor that. If you can come in the box, just hit a guest request. But I want you the others to sit tight because it might be a situation where we might play a little game where I bring multiple people in the box and we compare notes. Because this could be fun. Good morning. It is morning, right? It is. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you? So talk to me. Tell me how this.
I'm good.
How's this all fitting together? And all what just for the people who are watching, how this works is I will put together the vocal connection, and I'll know if it's a postcard or if it's actually for her. Does that make sense? I know it makes sense to you.
I think I can pretty much take everything. I took down some notes.
Okay, it's so
they
you.
always come in together. G name would be, can I give the relationship?
To your grandparents, right?
Okay, yes. So the G name would be my grandpa's name, Gilbert.
Okay.
I'm not for sure about city to country. The city probably maybe would be like way back in the day, but they did live in the country. They are fiercely independent. The 3, there is 2 family dates with the month of 3. The 3-year-old would be my cousin's little boy. There is like a division in the family since they've passed away. They kind of were like the glue. My grandma always brings through her horses, and I have her brother did race in the Kentucky Derby.
Okay.
I know you mentioned that. Bugs Bunny, Looney Tunes. I'm not exactly like the exact reference what that would be, other than like me always watching Saturday, Sunday morning cartoons
with them.
My papa was very good with his hands and tinkers. He always brings that through. Clocks. My mom has an heirloom like clock that's filled with rocks. And as far as like the Swiss or the Switzerland, that's kind of like the whole area where our heritage comes from. And watermelons, they were farmers. So they had like beautiful gardens with fruits and vegetables.
Yeah, they felt like they were very self-sustainable.
Yes, they were actually dairy farmers. Well,
okay.
Sorry.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. As soon as you started talking, like I started getting like full body chills. And do you have, at first it sounded like you had a Southern accent. Like when you first started talking, I was like, okay.
Yes.
But then the more you talked, the less you had it. That was interesting. So I'm asking them, they're just like, your grandma's funny. She was the big personality between the two, right?
Yes, definitely.
And what's interesting is the Bugs Bunny thing, that the Looney Tunes, that is what I did with my grandpa on Saturday mornings. So that was more, so that goes back to a good reference for understanding that when the medium gets the information, then it could be from our own personal reference.
Yes.
So they're coming in and saying, build your own family, build your own family is what they're saying. Build your solid family. That things are shifting and changing, and that is okay. They're not angry that the division is happening, that it was necessary. They're saying there's something about being necessary for growth and as part of fulfilling a purpose. They fulfilled their purpose by creating what they created. They don't necessarily think that you need to continue that same exact way because it doesn't work now. It doesn't work vibrationally where we're headed. So I think they're just kind of giving you that confirmation that whatever's happening is okay, that it's absolutely necessary for continued growth down the line. Does that make sense to you? Oh, shoot. Hang on.
Can you hear me?
I couldn't because my husband started calling and I told him, do not freaking call me because I'm going to be live and it's going to go. I will not answer. And he's the one that scheduled our dryer to be delivered at 11 o'clock. I'm like, I'm not going to be on. I'm going to be on. I'm going to be on. So now he's calling me desperate because he's not going to be on time.
It absolutely. I'm sorry.
I said,
it absolutely does make sense.
Okay, good.
Like the last couple of years, we're not able to have like the whole family get together because it's just we're so large. Like my mom can't handle the pressure of it all anymore. There's just so many family members, and we're also not doing it actually on Christmas. We're actually doing it like a little afterwards. So it's just very different for us all. It doesn't feel the same anymore.
Right.
So it's nice to have their validation that, they're okay. They're okay with it.
Yeah. They just realize that their role in creating what they created was fulfilled, and now it's just not necessary. It doesn't fit. Yeah. I'm asking if there's anything else that they want you to know. I do feel like they come through. They're around you a lot. And do you have two siblings, or is there something, or did they have two kids? Is something about two?
I have two children, and they had two living children as well.
Okay. Oh my God, I'm going to hurt my husband. He's like, I can't make it on time. Ooh, hate texting. Hang on. Are they here? I need to make sure they're not at my door. I'm like, we're going to fight. Sorry about that. So I do feel like they're around. Say that last part again. I'm so sorry. Like, I wanted to make sure nobody was like at my door waiting to be let in.
I think that was the two kids. And
I do
have two kids, and they have two living kids as well.
Okay. I just feel like their big message was, it's the holidays. I get it. They get it. Like right now, there's a lot of sadness around this feeling of, oh, what would grandma think? What would they think? What, how would they feel about it? I think it's just important to know that they're indifferent. Yeah, that they're okay, that they see, because they see a bigger picture.
Yeah. Thank you.
So, I'm just making sure that they don't have anything left to say. And they are drawing my attention to lights. Do they mess with the lights in your house? Is that one of the ways if they're around?
No, I haven't noticed that.
Pay attention, because I feel like they're talking about, they communicate through those frequencies of like electricity and lights and all that.
Okay.
Which again, pretty common like that, because it's a frequency they can manipulate easily.
Right.
But for some reason I was going to skip over it, and then they were like, say it. Okay. So it might be something that you might start noticing here fairly soon. So, well, thank you for coming in and allowing me to read for you today. And being my guinea pig, or my demonstration. I appreciate it. So if find me if you have any other questions, but I appreciate you coming in and sharing. And I know you've been in here before, and you're one of my regular followers, so I appreciate you.
Okay.
All right. Have a good day. Bye.
You too. Bye.
All right, friends. I'm glad that you guys, there was a lot of people that were getting postcards. And see, this is where I say to you, I know a lot of you had postcards, and some of you were like, I could take 100%. I had to trust spirit, and that's part of my development, and part of my learning with spirit is I had to trust that spirit was going to guide me, because had she popped in and I heard her voice, I would have been like, it's not for you. And some of you have seen that happen before. Some of you have seen me bring someone in who says they have 100%, and then they start talking and they're like, well, it's not really 100%. And then they just want to be on camera. And none of it actually fit. But I knew the second they got in there that it wasn't them because the voice connection. Okay, because we create a triangle. I am so pissed right now, you guys. Early? He knows I've been doing this for like, what, 6 months now? And I even said last night, don't be late. They'll be sitting outside cold waiting for you to get here. Yeah, he can't make it, which means I have to go upstairs, pull up potty pads, I have to go do manual labor, and they're going to be here in about 5 minutes. I guarantee he's still downtown. And I have to go get my dogs handled. So looks like I'm ending my live an hour early, and I am not happy about it. So like this is the perfect example of this is the Gen X Lorenda side. You all ready? Buckle up. This is Gen X Lorenda side. Why would you assume that if I work at home, I can just be at everyone's disposal? Do I just sit at home and do nothing? Are you that much more important than I am that you couldn't show up? I have to do all the things. Yeah. So looks like I am going to go deal with the dryer people. It is very triggering. And also, don't get me started on how he didn't even try to have the dryer fixed. He just replaced it. Meanwhile, my growing up poor self is on YouTube trying to figure out, how could I fix it myself? How could I fix it myself? Could I take this apart? Like, I was trying to figure out how to take apart the dryer so I can fix it myself, because I have a feeling it's just the heating element. I bet it's an easy fix and probably would have cost us a couple $100 versus a brand new dryer, but whatever. I totally could have fixed it. So, and he's 20 minutes out. All right. So if he gets here and can handle things, then I'll jump back on. I'll jump back on if he gets here, but chances are it's going to be, I know, Heather, here's me angry typing. Hi, sis. I'm just like trying to keep my composure. Oh, there's no surprise. There was literally no surprise. I guarantee it. And I bet you anything, this dryer is not even going to match. I know how he functions. I know I've been married to this man for 26 years. I know exactly how this is going to play out. And I had a feeling today that what's going to happen, I had a feeling that this was going to happen, that he wouldn't show up on time. They're on their way. They actually called and said they're on their way. So I have to go move all the dog cages, get the dogs downstairs and secured and settled and everything else, because he's going to be 20 minutes. He's 20 minutes out, which means he waited till they called to head up here. He was supposed to be here at 11. He was supposed to be here. I know it doesn't. And when he's like, why are you so negative? I'm like, I'm not. I'm psychic. I know how this works. I'm not being negative. I'm psychic. So I hate to do this, but I have to end my life early, friends. And there's my mom popping in, right? Word. Yeah. So I would love to stay and chat for the next hour, Mom, except Matt just texted me and said, hey, I need you to go let the dryer people in. So I've got to go get everything handled with the dogs and with my knee. With my knee, I'm going to go move the cages. I'm going to go clean up the mudroom, and I'm going to get everything ready because he couldn't be here. Salty Gen X wife right here. Ooh, man. All right. I will be back if he shows up. Yeah, and they say, yeah, I didn't manifest it. That's just how he is. This is just how, and my mom can attest to this. This is how Matt Carr functions. He cannot be on time for anything. He will be late to his funeral. So, no, I already did all the chores and it's cleaning day for the professional cleaners. So I don't know why he's even showing up at this point. He could have stayed at work if I'm doing all the work, all the prep work. So, all right, these people are going to be here. I got to go, apparently go move literally everything with my bum knee. So, oh, and he's the one that's like, I don't need a crown. You don't need any more crowns. Guess what? Guess who might be getting, oh, you better believe I'm going to get a crown. I'm going to open it on Christmas Day and be like, oh my God, look, I'm so surprised. So anyway, I have to end early. I'm so sorry, friends, that I have to end early. I will come back if things straighten out and he gets here. So we'll talk to you soon. All right. Thank you all for coming in. And we have to talk about trance. I'm totally coming back later. I will be back later. Please set your alarms or your notices. I will come back because we didn't even get to talk about trance. We didn't get to talk about any of the cool stuff that I had planned demonstrations for. So I'll be back once I can be. Okay. I'll miss you all. Mwah. Thank you all.